Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to the Wealthy You podcast. I am your host, Terry Black, the Wealth Sharer, and I'm here to share wealth so you can build wealth. And by sharing wealth, I'm going to help you connect to your God given purpose within your business life so you can grow and prosper. In order to be wealthy, there's work to be done. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm to be sharing my journey along the way as God is giving me insight to the things that will make us wealthy. Again, I always say wealth is not just about finance, it's about your spiritual wealth. And in this podcast, I'm going to take you down a journey to understand how the mind works and what you can do to help alter things in a positive way by responding to what you receive in the mind. So here's what happened to me this morning. I started to receive thoughts about someone very close to me, and they didn't answer the phone yesterday. And I was calling and sending messages, and then I saw them on the gram. And then I realized they were at a friend's house because I can see their location. And all these thoughts started coming, but they weren't as intense as it was this morning. And I called at 7 o'clock and didn't get an answer because they're super close to me. And I needed to understand what was happening. Now, the need is something we think we need in the moment. It's something that we could put off, but I just wanted to just get it resolved. So in between the 7 a.m. phone call and not getting them, and then their phone call about maybe 20 minutes later, all these negative thoughts started coming to me. And it was about cutting them off and let them figure it out on their own. And I'm done. And I can hear the thoughts, and I knew the thoughts wasn't mine. And I'm just like, wow, why is this happening? And then I heard it's the spirit of worry, of negative influence. And there was another word that was used. And I'm like, And then I was told everyone has that spirit that speaks to them, that gets them to think in a negative way, that feeds them negative thoughts. And here's what I'm going to say. I thank God for being able to receive audible guidance, being able to hear clearly, being able to receive words on how to live my life. I thank God because I'm in a state where there's a separation between the negative thoughts at times, more than not, because sometimes I can feel myself in it, like daydreaming about what it is that I'm thinking about, and I'm feeling it. And then I realize, wait a minute, that's not me. And I'm here to tell you those negative thoughts are not you either. We're going down this path of the spiritual realm so you can understand what it is for you to respond to life better. I say life, I mean everything, okay? Because that spirit of worry, that spirit of anxiety, that spirit of causing you trauma, mental harm, feelings that cause you to think in a negative way, it has no bounds. It happens when it comes to yourself, when you call yourself fat and ugly and all these things that you're not, when you don't believe in yourself. It is the thoughts of harming people when they do stuff to you and you want to get back at them and you want to retaliate. So I'm going to share with you the lessons, and then we're going to go into more in-depth conversation about the things that you're hearing, that everyone is hearing. It's not just you. It's universal, okay? So the lessons. Not everything we listen to in our minds is true. And for so long, many people get caught up in believing that they're one with their thoughts. That is not true. Because when you get a thought to do something harmful to someone else, are you supposed to do it? Absolutely not. So that means that thought is not yours. Second lesson, we hear words that do not belong to us, pushing us to react rashly. So here it is. We are hearing these words and we feel connected. And even when you don't feel connected, you're like, you feel it. Like you're in the same mental space as what you're receiving, right? You're considering it. It's influencing your behavior. And if you are not disconnecting yourself from that thought to pause and realize it's not you, then you're going to act on what you hear. And you're going to do it rashly. It's like, when I say rash, it means you're going to try to get in contact with that person right away, or you're going to try to get something back. Or let's just say someone, does something while driving. You're going to get the thought to flip them the bird, and then you stick up your middle finger while you're driving. And now it's causing a conflict between you and that person. God doesn't want that. I can guarantee you that, because God has taught me, Terry, pray for that person. Do not respond negatively, because I don't know what they're going through. I don't know if they're even aware of what they're doing. So Terry, don't go into having turmoil to bring turmoil to someone else. The third lesson, we are fed false narratives in our minds about people to keep us in a negative stronghold. That stronghold is that strong feeling that we have that is impulsive, that wants us to respond in a negative way, that wants us to react. It is a false narrative. Do you know that something can happen and in your mind, there's a story created about that situation that's not true at all? Everything in your mind is not real. Everything that you receive is not true. And I'm still learning this. The thing I will say before I go on to the next lesson is I'm learning how to flip the script. I'm learning how to change the words. I'm learning how to fight the battles. Number 4, we do not need to accept the lie. Change the narrative to a positive one. I didn't even realize that was the next lesson. I'm looking at my notes. I didn't even realize that was what's coming next. That's literally what I'm learning. If I receive that my child is not listening and they want to do things their own way, they want to do things in, how they see fit, and they never listen to me, I change that narrative. Say, God, thank you for a child that listens. Thank you for a child that does their absolute best. You change the narrative to a positive one. Okay. Number 5, the negative thoughts don't care who they are talking about. Okay. I just use my child's example. So those negative thoughts can be talking about your mother, your father, your spouse, your partner, your children, family, friends, strangers. It does not have any limitations. Whoever, whatever situation that happens, there's going to be a negative thought that's going to come strong, and it doesn't care who it is about. So let's just say, your parent said something to you that made you be in your feelings. Oh, that my mother doesn't love me. My father doesn't love me. Or you have a father who wasn't there growing up. Oh, I hate him. I never want to talk to him again. That negative stronghold goes against what God says to love everyone. And in loving everyone, that means you forgive them. You honor God by doing what God says, not doing opposite. Okay. Number 6. Okay. We have things happen in the spiritual realm and we hear them. It is our jobs to decipher and not allow the negative words to influence negative responses. And that is real. That is what we're hearing. It took me a long time to realize that the spiritual realm is real and that there's things that we're hearing that is not of us, for us. But on the flip side, there are words that we hear that are for us, for our good, for the light, for the love. So I really want you guys to really understand that The thoughts you're receiving, more than not, is not driven by you, but driven by the spiritual world to influence your behavior, to influence how you react to the people around you. And if it is causing mental harm and can potentially cause mental harm to someone else, it is not of God. So that is what I want to share with you, the lessons. And now I'm going to go into more of the other intrusive thoughts that you may receive. But what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some thoughts and then we're going to flip them. Okay. Because I can guarantee you everyone experiences this. And I say everyone experiences this negative talk. There's people who have mastered it, but there's people who are in it and they don't even know they're in it and they don't even know how to get out of it. And they don't even realize they have the power to change and influence their own behavior rather than fall into negative downfall. So this is for you to practice in order for you to shift. And if you're not aware, because this is something that is not always talked about out loud. Were you expecting for me to come on the Wealthy You podcast to talk about the spiritual realm and the negative thoughts? The reason why I'm talking about it is because you cannot get better in your life if you are walking unaware of how life works and how it influences your behavior. And when I say life, you are walking with the invisible realm. That is facts. So you have to understand how to receive, acknowledge, decipher, change. If it's not in any good space, then it's not for you. Now, this is something that people don't often talk about. This is what people refer to as intrusive thoughts. Thoughts of worry, thoughts of anger, thoughts of what you're going to do to someone in the retaliation to how they make you feel. So I'm going to give you tons of examples. And I know you guys can relate to it. I know it's something that's going to speak to you. I'm having the most real conversation I can have because God has enlightened me that in my journey as the wealth sharer, as I'm gaining wealth of spiritual insight, I'm to share it because there's people out there. There's one person out there that needs this help. There's one person that needs to be broken free. There's one person in bondage that can shift their life. There's one person struggling. I say one person, but I know it's a lot of people. But it just takes that one person. If I can influence one person, God, thank you. Because I know what it is to walk around in mental bondage and not realizing that I'm thinking negatively about people, past tense, because this is not my current state. And I say it's not my current state. I'm not willingly doing that. I'm not willingly saying I want to cause harm on people or I want to retaliate or I don't like this person, I don't like that person. I'm not doing that. Because now that I'm in awareness, God has taught me how to flip the script and it's teaching me that. And it's been one of my lessons for, my goodness, this has been a lesson for some time, but it's been more intense in the past month or two about flipping the script, changing the narrative. And God will do things in a subtle way initially, and then it gets intense. So I know that with God teaching me to shift the narrative, there's a breakthrough happening, coming, and my reality is going to shift so much that I'm going to transcend. And you are to transcend too, for those who are willing. Is this an easy conversation to have? Yeah, it kind of is. It is, because this is how I talk in my walk in life. Day to day, I'm talking to someone about how they can shift. I'm mentoring people every day in this space. And this is what God has called me to do. And this is what being the wealth sharer also means. Yes, I help you with finances. Yes, I help you with budgeting. Yes, I help you with understanding how to manage your mortgage. Yes, all those things financial. Yes, yes, yes. Those things are great. But what is more impactful? You understanding how to shape your life based on what you think, how you receive thought, and what you do with it. That's what it's really about. Because even when it comes to your finances, you need to know how to be a good steward. And being a good steward means you need to master your mental. You strengthen your mental. Master the things that God is telling you. So here are the examples that I'm going to give you. And again, I know this is going to relate to many of you, but definitely that one person. So someone not picking up the phone and returning your call. These examples are examples of the negative thoughts that you receive sometimes every day, definitely once a week. Someone owes you money and you realize that it's not important for them to give it back to you. So now you're going through this mental fight, this war internally about how you'll never give them money again. Oh, they can't come to me for money because they don't give back, and look how they're spending money, and look, they're going on this vacation and they buying this and buying that, but they don't have enough money to give me back. Yeah, you going through it. Dealing with children that are not hearing your advice and you've seen them not make the decision. You know what? Let them figure it out by themselves. That's what you're telling them. Let them figure it out, because they're going to realize one day I was telling the right thing. Oh, you don't want to listen? You're going to learn the hard way. Why would we even want our kids to learn the hard way? Pause. Why? Why would we even say that? They're our children. We brought them into this world. Why would we want them to learn the hard way? It is our jobs to help influence them in a positive way. Come on, let's get real. Do you know how many times God is helping you when you don't listen? Do you know how many chances God gives you? Do you know how many times you are not following instructions God has told you to do? So how dare we give up on our children? How dare we give up on anyone? Yes, there are some people that they just won't change, but are they not changing because they don't know better? Are they not changing because they just feel they're right? They want to live this one life and live it the way they want. But are you also praying for them? Are you praying for them? Next example. A coworker or boss that gets on your nerves and irritates you every time they do something. That one coworker, every time they laugh, you're like, oh my gosh, if they don't be quiet. Every time you see them, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk to them. Are you rolling your eyes at someone at work? I know what it means to be in that space. Used to be. Remember, this is past tense. So I can relate to that. That one person that you're like, oh my gosh. You know what? I'm being reminded. Someone once told me that if there's someone that you don't like, there's something within that person that reflects you, and there is something about them that you don't like in yourself. So therefore, you're deflecting and putting it on them when it's really about you. A friend told me that many years ago, like 10 years ago. And I used to low-key try to ignore it because I'm like, I didn't want to acknowledge that she might be right. But she is. There's that one person that irritates you. Why are they irritating your soul? Why are they irritating the negative response in you, the negative words that's coming to you? What about that person that you actually wish that you could do just like them? And I say that, like, I'll give an example. That one coworker who's like friendly with everyone. You're like, why are they so friendly? Oh, they can't be trusted. Do you wish that you was friendly? What I'm trying to bring is the real life situations people are in every day. It doesn't matter where you live, who you work with. It doesn't matter what you do, how much money you make. Everybody receives thoughts. Everybody receives positive thoughts, but most people are living in negative thoughts. All right, here is the next example. That person who is driving too close to you. Another example, the person who cuts you off while driving. Everybody has somebody who does something to them while they're driving. And the amount of idiots you call them or stupids you call them, that is not what you should be doing. You receive the word of stupid. You know what, God? I pray that they get home safe. I've said this. This is what I've said in the past couple years. God, I pray that they get home safe. I pray that you teach them how to drive. I do. Because that was my process of God telling me, Terry, don't go in the negative direction. Pray for them. So me praying for them was me asking God to give them what I would want them to do in that situation. You didn't make a good decision. God helped them make a good decision while driving. Help them get home safe so they're not harming someone else by not paying attention to what they're doing. Next example. Someone looks at your boo, your partner, And now you're making assumptions that they want them. Or you're looking at your partner like, oh, so you gonna look back? Right? You are now creating this narrative in your head that someone's gonna take your man or take your woman. Now the jealousy's coming out. Now you are in this space of negative self-talk and having a mental battle with someone who doesn't even know that you're battling with them. Okay? Next example, your partner goes out to hang with friends and you assume that they're cheating. Yeah. How many of you have thought, oh, they outside? They want to be outside? Who they outside with? What time they coming home? You got home late? Why did you get home late? Who you messing with? I'm trying to tell you, this stuff is real. All right, next example. Matter of fact, I just said this. Your partner goes out to hang with friends and you assume that they're cheating. So then there is your partner spends a lot of money and your thought is that they're always going to be financially irresponsible. How many of y'all have husbands or wives that you're like, oh my gosh, will they be better with money? But you don't say it that way. You be like, oh my gosh, they always spending money, blowing money. They're not considerate about our future. I'm trying to do this and do that. And they're not understanding our goals. And they're just spending, swiping, all these things. Okay. Don't forget, I'm going to tell you guys how to change most of these. We're going to change them into positive things. All right. Next example. The person you like is not giving you energy. So now you're thinking that you're not worthy. And now you're wanting to give them more attention so you can receive more from them. So it's this spiral of you wanting more in a relationship. Now you're having anxiety about how they're responding to you because you don't understand what they're going through mentally. And now you are saying to yourself that you're not worthy of a relationship, or they don't like you. And if they liked you, they would do all these things you're going through. I'm telling you, people in their day-to-day walk have mental battles with people and the other person doesn't even know. It doesn't matter if it's your coworker, your mother, your parent, your spouse. You are having these mental fights, right? Conversations, fighting people that don't even know. That should tell you something. Okay. Here's another example. You tell someone a business idea and they turn around and start a business and now you're in your feelings. Oh, they took my idea. Oh, they wasn't going to start a business until I told them. That's why I shouldn't have said anything. People have this thing about doing things in secret. And God has told me many times, Terry, whether you keep it in secret or not, what's for you is for you. There's enough resources out there for everyone. If someone starts a business, after you tell them a business, because God has been putting it on their minds, because God put a lot of things on people's minds to do, and they're inspired by you wanting to start a business, and they're not doing it out of envy, they're doing it out of feeling pushed and inspiration. And now you're in your feelings because they start a business and you wanted to start one. But now the next step is you're not even moving on the idea that you're doing because you're watching them flourish and talking about them in your mind. So now you pump the brakes on what you need to be doing because you were in your feelings because they started a business. That is not the spirit of generosity. That is not the spirit of compassion. Okay, next. All right, you buy something and your friend buy it too. Man, I don't like shopping with this person because every time I pick something up, they like it. Maybe they're just influenced by your style. Maybe they don't feel like they don't have a style, so they kind of like what you like. Or maybe there was eyeballing it and you got to it first. I mean, there's so many things, but at the end of the day, does it really matter? Does it really matter? They made more than one shirt. They made more than one bag, more than one shoe. If somebody want to twin it up with you, let them be. Does it change who they are to you? No, it doesn't. That's a material that is outside of them. That is something that doesn't really matter. Okay. So don't be in your feelings about them copying you because now you're in a negative space about it. Be like, yeah, girl, let's go and get this together. I mean, you decide if you want to wear it at the same time. I mean, I say that jokingly. I'm just saying, like, is it really that important? All right. Next example. Someone gets promoted at your job and you feel like they didn't deserve it. So now you're in your feelings, cursing them out. And the person who got promoted, you're saying that it's not fair that they got promoted. I know there's people who think this way. Another example, Someone makes more money than you, and now you're internally battling with telling people off, manager, I'm not going to do no work. Like you're having these conversations internally. I'm over here busting my butt. Are you really? I'm just saying. And then you feel that you deserve to be paid much as them. But considering you may be doing the same job, but do they have more experience with you? And even if they didn't, why don't you work even harder to show your boss that you deserve the increase too? Or have a conversation with your boss about it. But there's no reason for you to spend internal conflict over it, okay? So now I've gone through the list. I want you to also comment, okay? Put in the comments which one, if not all, you connected with. Okay, if I didn't list something, tell me what you experience in your mind on a frequent occasion. What is troubling you about people as you go in your day-to-day? So guess what? This is not, something personal against you. This is something that is universal. Everyone receives negative thoughts and positive thoughts. I don't want to say that we're only receiving negative thoughts, but I also know there's people who are sitting in negative thoughts more than not. They are battling. And trust me, once you decide to do better, it's going to be a battle to come out of it, because those negative thoughts want to hold on you. And you be like, no, thank you. And they still try to hold on you. And the more you say no, thank you, the more they come. But guess what? One day you can be freed of those negative thoughts if you follow the principles that I'm going to teach you. And just remember, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, which means that we can repeat the same cycles. And if we don't repeat it, someone close to us can repeat it, or our children can repeat it. So once you understand what it is that's happening, now you work to master it, but you also work to help other people get out of it. Okay? Because people are unknowingly doing it, and they don't realize that there's information they're receiving that they need to change the script. Matter of fact, I love the fact that I just said that, because that just reminded me of a post that I saw this morning from Stephen Furtick. He posted, sometimes the battle in your mind is proof that God's trying to do something great in your heart. That's actually how this conversation came to be. That the battles in our minds, it's a conversation I've been having. Like I said, I mentor others in this space every day. Every day I'm mentoring someone in this space. So it is often that the discussion we're having is about the battles that they're going through and them feeling like they cannot get out of it. But I'm here to tell you, it's going to be an uphill battle. But just remember, you're going uphill, which means that you have the ability to conquer it. You do. Okay. So I'm going to go back to some of the negative thoughts, but I'm going to help you reinvent a new script to change the narrative. Okay. So we're going to start from the top. Someone not picking up their phone and ignoring you is causing you distress. And when they're causing distress, now you are in this space of negative turmoil. So we're going to flip the script. All right. So you tell yourself, maybe they're busy and going through something and it has nothing to do with me. So God, I pray that they're okay. Yeah, it's that simple. Flipping the script is not hard. It's just now you're seeing it in a positive light, because also you want to call in positive experiences to yourself. And by calling in positive experience to yourself, you're disconnecting to any negative outcome. And now you're saying, hey, I pray that they're okay. And I also know that they have nothing against me and they're going through their own situations that they need time for. So now you're disconnecting yourself and stop blaming yourself for them not calling you back and feeling ignored. Someone, matter of fact, going back to the situation with the person that I called yesterday, I messaged them, called them 7 o'clock this morning. They took 20 minutes to call me back. But you know what they said to me? I needed a day. I was going through something and I just couldn't talk to you yesterday. And I said to them, when we were all setting a good conversation and, towards the end, I said to them, if you can next time to send me a message to let me know that you got my call, but you just can't talk. It's okay to say that out loud. And they said, okay. And story done. Simple. Okay. Here's another example that we're going to flip the script on. Someone owes you money and you realize that it's not important for them to give it back to you. Okay. So new script. God, thank you for allowing me to have the finances to be able to give to someone in a generous way. And I thank you for the opportunity for them to be able to receive it, to help them in whatever situation they had to deal with. And that's it. You're not looking for a repayment. In your mind, you just let it go and don't try to ask God, I want it back. Just let it be. Because guess what? God is going to bless you in a different way. You're going to receive that money back tenfold. Okay? Give it with a grateful heart. Okay, next example. You're dealing with children that are not hearing your advice and you see them not making good decisions. So this is for me when you go into prayer. You say, God, thank you for children who are good stewards. They are great listeners, great communicators. They follow through on what is being asked of them. And God, I pray that they are always walking in the path that you've created. And I pray that I don't say anything to alter what's supposed to happen. And with that, as you're guiding me to guide them, God, I pray that they will follow through. And then you say amen. Yep. Recreating it's so funny. It's easy in theory to accept the negative thoughts, but you have to ask God to bring you to awareness so you can now be cognizant of what to change. And you're going to feel like you're in a battle. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to be real with you. You're going to feel like you're fighting, like, oh my gosh, I got to fight this thought. Yeah, it's going to come. Because going back to what was said this morning in that post from Stephen Furtick, sometimes the battle in your mind is proof that God's trying to do something great in your heart. And what was crazy about that post is that I've been talking about it all week, that thought that you're receiving, this is part of the mentoring I've been doing this week, the thought that we're receiving is an indication that's what God wants us to flip the script on so we can become better in that space. Everything we do is a lesson. Everything we do is a lesson. All right. So let's go to another example. I'm going to do a couple more and then I want you to ask God for awareness so you be cognizant of what it is that you need to do. And then I want to ask you to share this podcast. Share this podcast with someone that you know is quietly battling. That's everybody. So go ahead and share it with everyone. All right. So a coworker or boss that gets on your nerve and irritates you when they didn't do anything, right? But they're just irritating you. So God, please allow me to receive this person with grace and mercy. Please forgive me for the negative thoughts I had against them. Forgive them for anything they're doing to drive others to negative thoughts. I pray that we can have a good relationship. That's how you flip the script. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you two more. All right. The person you like that is not giving you the energy that you want or the attention that you want. And now you're thinking that you're not worthy. And now you wanted to give them more attention because you feel like if you give them more, they'll pay attention to you. So this is how we're going to flip the script on this one. Okay. God, if it's not meant to be, don't let it be. All right. That was not a joke. I promise you. I was being really real about that, what I just said. But another way you can flip the script is you're going to say, God, I am worthy of receiving love at all times. I'm worthy of being in a great relationship. God, thank you for a honest, faithful relationship with great communicator, with someone who is a provider, someone who will honor me and will put you first. Okay, last one. Someone who starts a business because you told them that you're going to start a business. God, please allow them to prosper. Please give them the vision, give them the insight, the ideas for their business to prosper. Because the reason why I'm telling you to say this prayer, okay, ask God to prosper them, because God has told me over the past 4 years that there's more than enough resources for everyone in this world to thrive. No matter what businesses they're in, no matter how they're serving, there's more than enough resource. Don't forget, we serve a God that created the heavens and the earth. Look outside. Look at the abundance outside. Look at the trees. Look at the sky. If you're near the water, look at the ocean. Because I have, listeners all over the world. One, I want to thank you all for listening to me, for being able to connect with me, for coming into agreement to help others do better. Because when you do better, other people do better automatically. It may not feel like it, but you're also helping them flip the script. And that's also you wanting the best for them. So I pray that this has given you everything you needed to be able to combat, to put on your armor, the armor that God has given you in the insight of understanding. Yes, it happens in the spiritual realm first, but also your victories in the spiritual realm as well. Just bring it to fruition. And your victories in what you say, how you do it, and what it is that you believe. Faith and belief will shift all things. So I really want you all to understand you hold the power within. You are able to live in your true desires. You're able to change the narrative. So shift and shift well. Have a great one. Bye. Hey everyone, I pray that you enjoyed this episode of the Wealthy You podcast. Again, I am your host, Terry Black. Be sure to connect with me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and stay tuned for more podcasts. If you would like to work together or be a guest on the show, you can send me an email at terry@thewealthshare.com, or you can go on to my website, thewealthshare.com.